Hey everybody, welcome to Inside the Studio, the official podcast here at Alamo City Studios. As you guys know, we're going kind of behind the scenes with different people that are contributing to San Antonio's film, production, creative communities. And today I'm joined by a good friend of mine and collaborator, Orlando Rashid. Orlando, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Jeremy. And not sure what I'm supposed to say, what you don't want me to say, but
I want you to say all the things you think you're not allowed to say.
oh, really?
Yeah, that'll make
Okay.
it better for
All right.
everybody.
Okay, I can do that, I think.
So Orlando, man, I think, you're kind of new to San Antonio, and I think maybe giving some people some background on you and how you got here and all of that. I mean, you and I have collaborated on some projects together, and you have a studio space here at Alamo City Studios.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe you could give some people your background on LA and some of the other stuff you've done in the past.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've been in LA for more than 20 years. I've pretty much built my career there, and I started out as an audio engineer. I was lucky to get into some great projects. I call it luck because it really is like that in LA. It's a frenzy. But yeah, I got into some great projects. I studied audio engineering. I started working in churches, particularly Korean churches.
I didn't know that.
I had no idea what they were saying, but sound is sound. I was just able to make it work.
Yeah.
And then I started working in studios, which really was great. There was at that time tons and tons of studios, recording studios, that is, around
When
LA.
was this?
This is in the early 2000s,
Okay.
pretty much,
Okay, got it.
all the way to the 2000s. And a lot of them was closed down. The home studio revolution kind of took over. Even, last year, the legendary record plant closed down. I got to work some sessions there. So it's kind of sad to see that world kind of fold up, but now it's alive and well in people's homes. And that is kind of how I started my career. I started, I should say, like the bigger credits of my career.
Yeah.
Catering, particularly Jamie Foxx. He had a studio at home.
Yeah.
He kind of revolved around several engineers. I just happened to be one of them.
Yeah.
And it was a great ride, to be honest.
How did you get involved in that? Like, how did you meet Jamie? How did you That's
sub.
a pretty cool opportunity.
Yeah, I actually was a sub. I was a sub engineer, and I was working with one of his artists. It's funny because when I went there, they said, yeah, it's going to be with Fox. And I thought Fox as in Fox Network.
Yeah, the network, yeah.
And then I'm like in a residential area. I'm like, there's something off here,
Yeah.
And then I get, it was a house. I remember walking down this long corridor. The studio was at the very end, beautiful studio in Tarzana. And I started working, and I had no idea really who the client was.
Yeah.
And then 3 days later, Fox, as in Jamie Foxx, came in, and I was like, oh, Jamie Foxx. I put those two together.
Yeah.
And from that point forward, I just got called in more often. I was kind of seen as, like, at that time, as the young guy who really knew Pro Tools and audio engineering. And oddly enough, he was the one who got me into video production. So I really never went to the traditional, let's say, film school or anything. I just started editing.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget how he kind of gave me an assignment. He goes, well, you're able to cut audio. You should be able to cut video. And he was right, and that started. And I made a lot of mistakes. I went through a lot of revisions.
What kind of video stuff were you guys?
It was mainly like personal stuff at that time.
Yeah.
And he was very sweet. Like the very first project I did for him, there it is. The very first project I did for him.
The fire escape here is a prop.
Yeah, and it comes out at the right cue, right? Is that like a symbol I shouldn't be talking about this?
No, keep going.
I was just kind of kidding. So anyways, the first project I did, which was, I never will forget how sweet it was Jamie had all of these videos of him with different celebrities he had compiled that said, it was happy birthday to his daughter.
Oh, cool.
She was going to turn 16.
Nice.
So he went around and he had all of these famous celebrities saying happy birthday to her. and somebody else had started the edit, and I kind of just cleaned it up. I did a couple changes, and that was like my first actual editing job in iMovie. And from that point forward, I got more into it, and I'm a bit obsessive. I guess it's part of just how my brain works. Like once I go into a subject matter, I really study it. Yeah. And then I just had some great opportunities. I mean, my first camera job was to be a Steadicam operator, and I had very little experience. And it was a music video, and I made it work somehow. So I've been very lucky. I'm very fortunate. Even here, coming here, I came here for my daughter. So you asked me that earlier. My daughter is here, and I want to be part of her life. I said, I'm going to move to San Antonio, and I've been very lucky to meet great people. You're one of them. Not just buttering you up just for that, but I've been very lucky, and just outside projects that are coming in. And I just recently started getting music projects, which is something that I hadn't really been working on. I was working in advertising for a while under different companies, doing just promotional content, a lot of commercials, and that was a lot of fun. I got into food photography, which is something that is actually really beautiful to see. I love food. Yeah. To see like awesome food, just kind of like
food stuff. I worked in I ran a production company for a while and shot food stuff, and it's always hard to make food look good. I mean, it's really, not. I shouldn't say it's hard, but it is hard. Food does not naturally look good. No. When you see food on television and when you see how it looks, you're like, wow, that looks good. I want to go eat that. Mm-hmm. There's massive amount of time and hours that went into making it look that way,
Not only that, but like the stuff they spray on it, it's like you can't eat it anymore.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not even real food, right?
Like, they spray stuff on it, and it's unedible for sure. But
backing up real quick, you were... So your original stuff with Jamie was not video, it was audio stuff. What were any cool projects? And I mean, because Jamie's a writer, director, filmmaker, musician. I mean, so you were working on the music stuff.
I was working exclusively in music.
Gotcha.
That's what I studied. I studied recording audio engineering, and
any cool, don't want to get you in trouble, but any cool stories?
Or I mean, I've met a lot of, cool stories. Yeah, I have a lot of cool stories, but more importantly, now you're like asking me to drop names and stuff.
No, but just anything interesting worth sharing that's acceptable. I don't want to.
No, and none of it is actually bad. All of it mostly is funny.
Yeah.
One of the stories I have, which is interesting, and I actually felt good that Jamie felt comfortable enough with me. So I was hanging around a lot more there. I got to meet his family, wonderful family. His family lives with him. A lot of his family live with him. And he just bought a new house. And I was like, yeah, I got a new house. And he was very excited. And I was like, man, congratulations. And he goes like, I really want to stay over there. I would love for me to stay over there. And I was like, anything I can do? And he goes like, yeah, I just want some beds so I can sleep there. He was very excited about it. And I was like, okay. I was like, do you want me to get you beds? And he goes like, yeah. I was like, okay, I can get you some beds, and how many do you want? And I don't remember how many. He said like a number, like 5 or, because he has family. And I was like, okay, well, where's the address? I remember actually being at the mattress store, ordering them and doing a rush job. And I'm like, hey, what's the address? And it's like, I don't know. So they started giving me instructions. You go down you go north on the 10, then you're going to get off on this exit, and then you're going to turn right. He starts giving me all these instructions. I'm like, oh my gosh, let me write this down. Like, there was no address. So I hung up. Actually, I saw him in person. He was in the studio, and I asked him. He didn't know his new address. So I called his manager, didn't know the new address. I called everybody I had, contact with in that circle, and nobody knew the address. Everybody was able to give me instructions with like, you're going to see a wooden statue of this. You're going to turn right on that street. Yeah. So I had the keys of the house. I had a clicker for the gate, and I'll never forget me driving around
just pressing the gate button.
Yeah, like this area of rich people, just like clicking and seeing if the gate opens. And finally one opens. I'm like, this is a house.
Yeah.
And I get in there, and of course it was empty, beautiful home. And I just kind of like, now I had the address.
Yeah.
And that was it. So once I got the address, I ordered it. So that's kind of an interesting story.
Yeah.
And more importantly, I felt like honored that he just felt comfortable enough to
Yeah.
ask that from me.
Yeah.
Because I'm his audio engineer, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he asked people for that, but he said, "Oh,
Yeah, they're named Orlando.
yeah, I guess, you know."
That's funny, man.
But yeah, but no, with that opportunity working in music production, I mean, I work with Snoop Dogg, 50 Cent, T.I. He had a lot. Ludacris was incredible. I mean, so many talented people that went through there.
Yeah.
And Jamie's just a great guy, just in general. Like I said, a really awesome family person, and it's kind of also inspiring me of like how he loves his family so much that I'm like, you know, it made
You can
me
do
love
all of these things. Yeah.
Yeah, it made me kind of more family aware. And,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know. It was a good influence. Let's just say that.
Yeah, that's cool, man. So now you're starting. You were saying now that you've moved here the last few years, you know, you were really doing a lot of video and production stuff, but you're starting to get back into music.
Well, I just got like several, like 3 clients actually. I did a album for a band called Daydreamers. I was in the studio for 2 days over at the Corn Pound, which is an incredible place. They have all this analog equipment. I hadn't seen, I mean, I had worked with all that equipment at one point. So I saw a lot of equipment that I don't normally see. Everybody's digital. So I didn't really use it, to be honest. I didn't use any of that equipment. Should I be looking at you or the camera? I'm not really sure.
I'm not really looking at the camera.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We're just talking.
Yeah. All right. Cool. I feel more comfortable just talking to you. So I saw this old equipment. I didn't really use a lot of it. I ended up taking my system in there, and it's like 2 of them are 15 and 1 of them is 17. So it's a young trio.
Yeah.
They kind of sound like Nirvana. And their parents basically paid for it. You know, they wanted to. You know, well. It's a beautiful thing if you think about it, because I had a lot of bands when I was young.
Yeah.
I played like in 3 or 4 different bands, and there's no recording of it.
Yeah.
You know, back then it wasn't a common thing. You have to go to a studio to record.
Yeah.
Nowadays you got phones and stuff, but not an actual professional recording. So I thought it was great, and the band is really good. You know, they actually have good songs. So so it's great to get involved with that. I might be doing a gospel record in a church. That one is still pending, but I would be very excited if that goes through. And then I have some solo artists that come over here. They're mainly singers. Yeah. And I record them and I produce their vocals. Yeah. I do have all the tools up there. I mean, I have Pro Tools, Logic, Ableton. I mean, you name it, Fruity Loops, tons of plugins. Yeah. And I know how to use them. I still actually teach audio engineering. I really love education. Yeah. And I'm still involved in educational institutions over in LA. So I'm teaching online, which is kind of weird. Yeah. I do plan to start teaching here because I love teaching in the respect that I learn from my students. Yeah, sure. There's so much stuff out there. They're like, hey, have you ever checked this out? Have you ever used this? And they get me. And then I go down the rabbit hole, which I kind of obsess about things. You're a little bit obsessive about stuff too, I've noticed, you know, with cars and
whatever.
Fish tanks.
Yeah. Just depends what the thing is at that point. Yeah.
Yeah. So how's the fish tanks going? Now I get to interview you.
Yeah. Well, I started so this building used to have the previous owners, the guys at Match Frame. They had fish tanks in almost every room. I mean, there were like 6 or 7 of them spread throughout here. Mm-hmm. And the one in the suite here, the one we call the Scarface room, the screening room there, had a huge fish tank, saltwater fish tank with a big lionfish and all kinds of crazy stuff. So we've now have brought one fish tank back, so it's up in the front. They're going all right. I mean, the local fish shop gives me free fish to breed because apparently I'm a great fish breeder. So they're like, take these and breed them. I said, okay. I just dump them in the tank. I'm not an expert, but
that's funny.
I got into it because of my daughter too. So like, wanted her to see the fish and stuff. So, but it's good.
Some people have a green thumb. You have a fish thumb.
I grew up. Well, it's the way I'm doing the fish. It's also a green thumb because it's all real plants, and so some of the plants grow in the tank, some of them grow out of the tank, and so there's a whole. So it's a green thumb and a fish thumb.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, but you're taking care of it, you know, in the respect that, I mean, it's work, right? At the end of the day,
Yeah,
you're looking at it, you're monitoring it,
Yeah.
you're making sure it's correct,
Yeah, I mean, I definitely went home the other day, a month or two ago, and I was like, I told my wife, I was like, I think we need to get rid of all the fish tanks. It's like
now you're like,
I've got to. Yeah,
hilarious.
I'm the type of person when I get interested in something, I like deep dive into it, want to know all these things about it, and then once I feel like I kind of understand what it is or how it works, I'm not super interested in doing it over and over and over and over and over again, which is a gift and a curse in many ways. And so yeah, I think I've kind of hit the point with those that I've kind of figured out what I'm willing to do with them, time commitment wise. It's not a very high time commitment, so anything more is a much bigger time commitment. It's an exponential thing, so I'm like not interested, But I think what we got over there, that looks cool, right?
Yeah,
It adds a
I
vibe.
love it.
Used to be a TV screen when you came into the studio. It was just a screen playing stuff, but now it's just a living thing, so that's cool.
I think it's a lot more interesting.
Yeah, it's cool, right?
Yeah. No, I love it.
Yeah. So
I mean, if I had a fish tank, I would ask to take some fish, but I don't.
yeah. Well, I told my wife the backup plan is if anyone's been here and seen the fish tank, I mean, there's probably 50 or 60 fish in there, and I'm taking 30 or 40 of them out every week, and getting rid of them. I don't get rid of them. I take them to the fish shop, and then they sell them. I told my wife, I was like, we just sell fish all day, It's like those things are. I give them $400 or $500 a week worth of fish, which is
really
pretty nuts. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, no wonder they say you're a good breeder.
Well, yeah, that's why they give me more, right? They're like, well, stop bringing us these. We've got plenty.
You're like a solar grid, that brings power back to the city or something.
Yeah, it's weird.
So, that's good. Now start raising some sharks.
Yeah, that's when you start getting into saltwater and stuff. It's a whole different game, apparently. Again, that's the line I'm kind of like, I don't want to.
You don't want to go there.
I got other things I got to do. So.
I hear you.
I was going to talk to you about the education stuff. So you're teaching it's an LA-based school, and then okay. So there's students that go to school in LA physically, or they're all remote, or
they're physically there. Yeah. Some of them are online only, like remote.
Yeah.
And I'm working on creating my own version of that. I just love doing it.
Yeah.
I still want to work for them because I actually, it's so interesting school because it's a large mix of international students.
Yeah.
But more importantly, because some people go like, I don't understand why you like teaching, and I'm like, well, for the most part, everybody I'm teaching are young adults that are into it. Yeah. They want to learn this stuff, so it's easy to teach when people are motivated. And don't get me wrong, not all my students are great, Some of them are kind of finding out, oh, this is not for me, you know. But the ones that are into it will motivate me. Yeah. And I want to do it here. I want to actually figure out a way to start doing that here.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I used to teach. I used to be faculty at Incarnate Word, and they have a computer graphics program and all that. And I used to teach a bunch of courses over there.
Do you enjoy it?
Yeah, I mean, I like the concept of teaching, sharing knowledge, and all of that. I kind of taught at different times, almost all of the classes from freshmen all the way to graduating undergraduate seniors. And so I taught sort of everything in between. At the end of my teaching career, or I guess the last time I taught, I was teaching a class to graphic designer, 3D graphics, animator type kids. And it was a senior class called, I forget what it was called, but it was like Business of Game Design or Business of Animation or Business of Design, something like that. And it was all about a lot of these kids will graduate with these degrees, and these fine arts degrees, Bachelor of Arts degrees. And, what do you do with that if you can't go get a job? Well, I mean, one option, right, is to go work for Disney, go work for the local ad agency, go work for wherever. But for some people, especially people like me, those were options, but they weren't super interesting options, right? Some of us were more like entrepreneurial and wanted to go do their own thing, and so this class was kind of a primer on, starting up a business and all the tax implications of that and accounting implications, and how do you go rent a space? How do you go find a space to rent? How do you go, so we taught a lot of that kind of stuff in that class. I found that in a lot of I probably taught 6 cohorts of that class over 6 years. And I kind of found that most of the students, in a 30, 40 person class are they were required to take that class, but they weren't super interested in all of that. It might have been, it probably was maybe the way I was teaching it. Maybe it was a little too high level and kind of going over their head a little bit. So there's a little, in some ways, teaching can be frustrating that way, right? Like when either the students aren't engaged, you're teaching things that are not engaging to them or whatever, right? I always kind of found you had one or two students who were awesome and super engaged. And so you
motivated you.
Yeah. And you're like, all right, I really want to make sure that I show up for them so that we can help move them up. But then you end up spending a lot of your time with actually not them and everyone else who's maybe not paying attention, maybe has, to be fair, maybe has things going on at home, whatever. You kind of don't really get to, in my view, I didn't really get to use my superpowers for good. I was really kind of doing some of the more mundane pieces of it that to be honest, I didn't love those parts of it. So conceptually, I love the concept of teaching and education, all of that. I'd probably go do it. I haven't done it for a few years. I'd probably go do it maybe later in my career, but at least directly teaching myself, right?
Yeah, and I completely relate to like losing motivation. And I've been there before that I was teaching in some other schools that I was teaching a subject matter nobody was into. Yeah. And I myself was not into it either. It's really interesting how like visual feedback helps a lot. And I mean, that's why online, I remember that they would allow students to turn off their cameras. And I remember I made a big deal about it. And thankfully, the schools have started saying, no, if you're going to be there. And my whole argument is like, you can't show up to a room like with a black sheet.
And hide from everyone.
And hide behind it. You know, it's like, how do we even know they're there?
All of my teaching experience is all pre-COVID too. So I haven't taught since COVID happened. So I'm not.
Oh yeah.
That wasn't really a thing for me. So
I probably should put this somewhere.
That's all right. Whatever. Man. So.
No, I get it. I think that a lot of it too is guilt. Like I was teaching a lot of things that I felt like, man, the majority of these graduates are not practicing what they paid for. But isn't that with everything? Like I've met so many people that go through a career and they end up doing something else. But college helped them. They maybe was it? I think it was Mark Cuban who said, "I went to college and I'm not practicing what I was taught, but college taught me how to research, how to look up things, how to
time
learn.
Management or whatever."
Exactly. So I kind of I see the value of it, and that's their journey, right? You know.
How do you handle students that again, it's not really at the end of the day, it shouldn't be up to you at whatever level, but are not going to be successful in this field, whatever it is that you're teaching. What do you do when you have those kind of kids?
I really love to motivate people. If I know that this is a weird thing that I have, I don't know where it came from because when I was young, I didn't care. But if I know that you don't like me, I'm going to make an effort to find a way that you will like me. So I find the same challenge with students who are not into it. You know, I encourage them to have open counseling with me. Open counseling is like a one-on-one. You know,
like office hours.
It's like for 15 minutes, they can book 15-minute things. And I kind of like, when I notice they're unmotivated, I'm like, what's going on, man? Like I just kind of talk to them as a human.
Sure.
And usually I will find something that is very relatable that I've gone through myself and convince them or give them like verbal cheerleading, you know, something that will get into it. And I even have told students, hey, like, it seems you're not into it. They're like, well, I thought it would be different. I'm like, is it too technical? What is it exactly? And I've had guys that end up, because after our conversation, they end up leaving. And I'm okay with that. At least if I happen to be the catalyst, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. But I feel good about it. I feel good when I make people that are young think. I was one of those that I was like 28 and I'm like, I had already gone through a career. Like I had already done a bunch of stuff. And I'm like, I don't know what I want to do with my life. And I said, and I sometimes ask myself that too. Where am I going next? Because it feels like I'm going from, I went from audio to video. Everything is changing, now AI, people are worried about AI video and all that stuff. And I'm kind of going like, you know what? I'm just gonna go with the wind. I'm just gonna, instead of being the resistance, I'm gonna embrace it, and not be afraid of it. And I think that everybody should be that way.
But so yeah, I think inspiring a kid or a student or whatever, that's definitely a skill
Oh, yeah.
that I'm sure that I could see you totally having. Yeah.
Very
But what about
satisfying.
ones that are like bad? What about a kid that's like
I'll be honest,
not
man.
good? You are not good, man.
I had one kid, and this is back when it was a physical. I was in school,
Yeah.
and I was teaching production sound, something I love to do. Which, for those who don't know what that is you're on the movie set with the shotgun mic, hiding microphones from people, all of that. And it was a field exercise around Hollywood, right? And so you see all these kids with their shotgun mics and, their gear and everything. And we're supposed to stick together. And there was this one kid. I'll never, this is the one bad one. And he would, like, anything I would say, he would do the opposite. And he was really starting to irritate me. And I lost my crap. Like, I lost my whole head one day on him and in front of other students. But he was like just trying to do it to incite me, and he did. It worked. and then I'll never forget how I looked over, and there was a student that was kind of like an older student, because I have young students and I have some older students. They're all mixed. I love that. I'll have a 18-year-old and I'll have a 35-year-old. I sometimes have a 50-year-old, and it's all mixed up. And I'll never forget how I looked over, and I kind of like, and he looked at me and he goes like, "He got you, man. He got you." And when he said that, like, it clicked. I'm like, this guy's doing it on purpose. This is what he does. He pushes people to get upset, and that's what gratifies him. And after kind of realizing that, it just made me change, to be honest. It made me change. And I remember at that point, I just kind of separated. I kind of talked to him, and we kind of cooled it off. But no, I went off on him. Like, I was so upset. But anyways, that's it. Other than that, I haven't really, and this kid was rich, like loaded rich.
Yeah.
He was entitled. I knew that from the very beginning.
Yeah.
You can tell, but that's not an excuse or anything, but I kind of understood his plight.
Yeah, sure.
If you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Part of his journey.
Yeah. So what are you guys doing now? What is Landor Media, and what are you guys, other than the music stuff, what else are you focused on?
Well, I really am focused on this documentary, about Liz Tullis and Conrad Tullis. I love the subject matter. I am knee deep into it. And something I haven't told you is, like, I have still continued my research and putting.
Can you describe what what you're talking about for the viewers?
So there's a documentary on non-fatal drowning, and it's all based off of the life of Conrad and his mom. And when I was first commissioned to kind of get involved in this project, I really didn't know what I was getting into. I really had no idea. And the more I started finding out or meeting families, I was like so intrigued, and it's completely hijacked my and as a father too, about this sensitive subject that nobody wants to talk about.
Yeah.
Just to bring in some facts, there are 22 drownings, right? Non-fatal drownings, around 11 fatal drownings and 22 non-fatal drownings every single day in the U.S. And half of those families have to make a really hard decision of letting their kids go. And some refuse to let them go.
Yeah.
And they will fight and advocate for them. And that is what this documentary is about the families who choose to say, no, I do not accept what the doctors say. I do not, I see that my child wants to fight, and I will fight with them.
So just clarification.
Yes.
I think a lot of people think that when you drown, you die.
Mm-hmm.
But something that was news to me also when I kind of went through this is a non-fatal drowning is you drown, but then you are successfully, at some level, successfully resuscitated, and you were alive, but you did drown. You're just not. And so often those half that you're talking about are in some sort of state, I don't know how you would describe it.
So it's technically what they call a focal stroke. And a focal stroke is defined as a deprivation of oxygen. So the first thing that goes is our motor skills. And this happens to adults as well. It happens with adults in car accidents or people who go into a lake. So the first thing you lose is your motor skills. So you can get locked in.
Yeah.
And locked in means that you are completely aware, you can think, but you just cannot move. And you just can't, you know.
So you look, to some people and doctors even, you look like what they would say is vegetative state, basically.
Yes. And that does happen. Some people are completely paralyzed and some people are able to recover. Some people are able to recover fully. So one of the doctors, Dr. Foxx, particularly, I asked him in one of those interviews.
You work with a lot of foxes.
Yeah, you're right. And you know what's weird? MI too. Like I work with a lot of MI, like mighty industry. Like it's a weird coincidence.
Yeah.
And anyways, yeah, there's so many weird coincidences. Like
it's a simulation.
I was gonna go down the roster,
man.
but I'm like, no, let's keep it relevant to the subject matter here. Sorry.
You're talking about Dr. Foxx and
yeah. So one of the things that really stuck was when I asked Dr. Foxx if a family right now is going through this for the first time, and what would be your advice? And his advice was, don't make any big decisions.
Yeah.
Wait to see what will happen, how the person is able to, just children particularly are amazing. Some of these children recover fully. And some of them are going to be handicapped for the rest of their lives. But the fact is that decision is up to the parents. And a lot of the medical community, a lot of the insurances will not cover them.
Yeah.
So this documentary is about their struggle, their advocacy. And some of these families that, for the most part, the majority of the families have not only changed the people around them, the kids changed the lives of the people around them. A lot of the family members became involved in therapy and medical research. The level of empathy that these situations create is worth mentioning. It's actually beautiful. And more importantly, some of these families have gone through a whole process of changing laws, changing insurance companies. It is quite remarkable. So that is what this documentary is focused on.
Yeah.
And there's really nothing like it out there.
Yeah.
There's really it is a very uncomfortable subject. So I understand. I did a count, there was more than 15 movies about Locked In, but there's not a single movie of Locked In due to pediatric non-fatal drowning.
Yeah.
Even that term, to me, the first time I heard it, it wouldn't even digest. Non-fatal drowning. You're like,
yeah, what does that even mean?
So non-fatal means you didn't die, but you drowned. Like, even that term to me still sounds very
means like
weird.
you died. Yeah.
Yeah. And when people ask me, what is a documentary about? Non-fatal drowning, like on children, you're like, what? Like there's such an oddity to it.
Yeah.
So these families the parents are amazing.
Yeah.
Today I have an interview later over the phone on a new lead that I had, and I just can't stop, hearing more about it, hearing people's journey. That doesn't mean I'll interview them, but I'm still fascinated. I'm in it.
Yeah.
And I've cried with parents. It's remarkable.
Yeah.
I mean, how is it that the most precious thing, which is our children, right? We don't talk about this uncomfortable subject. It needs to be out there because these people need help.
Yeah.
And more importantly, there needs to be more research put into development and options for these.
I think what I thought was super cool about this, there's a lot of things really cool about this story, but one of the things that's just, I think once you know this, and the challenge is a lot of people just don't know this. Once you know this, you can't ignore this, and it makes you have the sort of awakening that you've had with it, which is that the insurance companies treat the kids that are locked in, that have survived the drowning but are now locked in, as completely vegetative and brain dead.
Yeah.
And so they're saying you should just stop feeding that kid and let him go, him or her go, because they're done, you know. But the research that Peter Fox and Liz did together showed that the kids aren't vegetative. They're actually completely awake and alive.
Mm-hmm.
And they know everything that's going on around them. They just
Absolutely.
can't react to you,
Mm-hmm.
you know, right? And so that, I mean, seems like single-handedly should change the way it's treated as a, right? I mean, in some ways, I don't want to jump to the conclusion here, but insurance companies almost are like consenting to killing people, right? Like,
I mean, that really is what it is for them.
Yeah.
They don't want to be involved into, paying for treatments that might or might not work.
Yeah.
There's a lot of debate. Some of the treatments, like HBOT and stem cells, it works for some people and it doesn't work for others.
Yeah.
And insurance companies want nothing to do with it. So a lot of these costs end up. I met a family that they were $300,000 in debt. They had 8 children, right? And they're in debt, and they're like, yeah, we're at 30% interest rate right now. We don't see how we're going to get out of it. And you're just like, wow, and we actually captured this family and they got out of it. And at the very end, it's actually quite a remarkable story. This kid is a poet. He's a bit of in my opinion, like a savant. He has these amazing abilities of perception that he sees the world in a completely different way than we do. You know, and I'm just amazed. I'm just amazed by these children and their recovery. Yeah. And more importantly, the parents, like how they just don't give up, and that is like unconditional love that they are giving people. But also you have to keep in mind that every single one of these families, they are being judged by other people. They're being judged of like, oh, you are just making this worse for your kid. You should have let him go. So there's a lot of controversy in the subject matter. Yeah. It is a very uncomfortable subject matter. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Well, I think we could do a whole different podcast on that, on what the work you're doing on that film, which I'd love to do at some point. Mm-hmm. Let's quickly talk about. So you're here at Alamo City Studios. I mean, you were at the original location on East Houston, and you moved up here, right? You had a suite there, or
no? I was actually just a member.
You were a member, okay,
a member.
Got it.
I met Carrie. Carrie kind of introduced me to everybody, and he told me, "Hey, I have a brand new building that we are going to acquire, and I have a perfect room for you." Yeah. And he showed me that room up there and the one downstairs, and he was right. I love the one upstairs. Yeah. It's smaller. I use it for editing, a lot of editing. The sound in there is great. It's amazing. You've been in there. And I also have a vocal booth where I can record vocals or ADR or anything like that. Yeah. So I love being here. I love the space. I've loved meeting people like you and everybody around here. So I feel very fortunate.
Yeah. What would you say? Yeah. Thanks for that. I'm going to ask you for a sort of more of a plug now. Mm-hmm. What would you say to people like you that are interested in like officing here or becoming members here, joining our community, that kind of thing? I mean, it sounds like it's worked out well for you. I mean,
yes. I mean, come down here and check it out for yourself. See if it's a right fit. I don't think that this place is the right fit for everybody, but for people who are just hardworking, this is what they want to do. I think this is a great place. First of all, it's built out. This used to be match frame. I mean, you can even see the acoustics are done. There's really no investment in the room itself. There's a lot of conference rooms, a lot of spaces. You have a kitchen. Places to shoot. It is a great place to meet people, a great place to grow your business if entertainment is what you want to do. Yeah. And I don't know what else to say, but I'm proud of you as my friend, and as a entrepreneur. Like I just go like, wow, what you're doing is admirable, and it's incredible that you are putting this here for other people to have a space to develop themselves or to just do business. Either of the two.
Yeah. I think that's kind of really the goal is to just give other people the opportunity to have a place to do those things, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I think like you just said, it's not a place for everybody. And I've never really, I don't know if I would ever have said that out loud, but when I think about it, you're right. And you know why I think now that you said that, I think about it, it's like, this is not a place for fakers. This is like a place where people are doing real things, you know, doing real business with each other. You're collaborating with Danny and Diego and all of you guys just doing different things together, which is cool to see. And real projects that are coming out of here. And so, yeah, I mean, it's,
I'm excited about what this will be in the future.
Yeah.
I mean, the little bit of time that
Yeah.
we've had here, I mean, like you mentioned, Danny, he's a really good friend of mine.
Yeah.
We all help each other.
Yeah.
That's the beautiful thing about here, that we all get to know each other, and
Yeah.
we all not only, and some of us are in the same business.
Yeah.
We do the same things, but we don't see each other as competition.
Yeah.
We don't at all. We see each other as collaborators.
Yeah.
We help each other. We lend each other things for jobs. We consult each other on sections that we might be weak on. So I love that. It's an open-minded, collaborative environment, which is very much needed here in San Antonio.
Yeah.
And it's the right way to do it.
Yeah. When I was talking, Karina and I shot our first sort of intro episode where she was kind of interviewing me as kind of the one building out this space right now. And, you know, one of her questions was, you know, how do you foster that collaborative spirit? And I was like, you know, I think my answer was something like, it's very hard because there's sort of an inherent competition. You and Danny is a
We're in the
perfect
same
example.
field, yeah.
You do the exact same thing. Technically, if somebody walked in off the street and this was a car dealership, you'd both run up to him and say, how can I help you today? What can I show you? You know, and you could both give that, if that person said, I need X, Y, or Z, you could both fulfill that. But you guys are good friends and you collaborate on a lot of projects together. He does stuff, he brings you on, you do stuff, you bring him on. And so I was telling, one of the things I said to Karina is like, I don't even really understand completely how this works, but there's some form of competition, collaboration that sort of, it just works with, so far with how people, I'm not saying it's going to work forever, but it's sort of working, you know?
Yeah, I think it's just a combination of luck and things falling together. Like you said, with Danny, it's a perfect, me and him, it's a perfect combo because there are certain ones that I don't want to do. There's certain jobs I don't want to do.
Give Danny that shit.
Well, I do. I mean, I don't mean it. I don't call it shit, but I just go like, there's certain things that like I don't want to do, or I'm busy. Either of the two. And then there's some that he goes like, Orlando's more of an engineer technician. Let me refer that to him.
Yeah.
And so I love the fact that just even recently we both like gave each other jobs, but we've been doing that from the very beginning.
Yeah.
So it's worked out great.
Yeah.
And I love Danny. He's helped me out in my personal life out there, like with recommendations of San Antonio and what to do. And so no, I feel blessed. I feel blessed with everybody that's here.
Yeah.
I cannot say for example, I haven't worked with Lorena yet, but I know I'm going to collaborate with her in one way or another, but she's also kind of new here.
Yeah.
You know, collaborating with Jay right now, you know, in one shape or another. And and that's great. I think it's a interesting cocktail of people.
Yeah.
And
it's always a changing mix too, right? There's people that
I think
come in, come out, and
I was
just
gonna
depends.
Say, people are going to come and go.
Yeah.
And that's just how it's almost like natural selection, you know, like but it happens by itself.
Yeah.
There's really, you haven't gotten involved yet. You haven't kicked anybody out that I know of, have you?
Well,
Well,
no.
you'll get there.
I've gotten to a few. I've had to have some talks with some people, but you know me. I tend to kind of let things slide a little bit and see sort of what happens from them. I don't immediately. I'm not super. I am super rigid in a lot of ways, but when it comes to sort of managing different people and personalities, I tend to kind of watch and see how things unfold, even if something seems like it may have been a little bit like, why did they do that or whatever. Just because I generally believe most people are adults, so I'm not super worried about it. But I've had to have a few conversations with people. I don't think I've kicked anyone out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you'll probably get to that
I'm
at
sure.
one point or another.
I'm sure.
You know,
yeah.
but that's just part of how it works.
Yeah.
But no, so far I think it's great. I love it here. I love my room. My
Yeah.
room sounds incredible. And I hope to see a lot of projects come out of here.
Yeah.
I'm excited about big projects eventually coming out and being done here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of potential. It hasn't. I still feel that it's new.
Yeah.
You know.
That's what I was telling Karina. It's like, she asked me, what were the early days like? And I was like, well, I've recently just started taking over ACS, and we're in the early days. This is the early days. You're in it right now,
Exactly.
and I'm super excited for what the future holds for it. Not necessarily that we're at full hum right now. We're just sort of in the last 6 months, really, have just launched this thing. So
I know.
I'm excited about that. Cool, man. Well, anything else you want to share about?
No, I mean, I'm here at ACS. Well, please come by, take a tour. Like I said, we are not a fit for everybody, but maybe we're a fit for you. I'd love to just get to meet more people here in San Antonio. I feel very lucky that I've met people that are just, everything's a perfect fit. And I'm happy to continue doing business here and growing here with the community.
Yeah, awesome, man. Well, thanks for doing the podcast here with us today. I appreciate
Thank you,
it,
my brother.
Yeah. All right, guys. Make sure to follow us on all the channels, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks.